Today I'm going to teach you guys how to effectively plan and schedule your life, pretty much. This is just my take on this. I'm not saying you have to do this. This is just my opinion of what I feel like works the best, and that I feel like everyone who is at least somewhat busy during their day should do. So, let me give you a little backstory about how this started. When I was young, I was really unorganized, but I always had some things that I was organized with. Like, I always had a messy room. Still working on that, to tell you the truth. But I always had a messy room. Messy times. I would plan all these things I want to do, but not do them because I would either overwhelm myself or I would plan the wrong way, and it would just mess everything up. But I was always one thing when I was younger that I initially picked up with being organized was when I was in junior ROTC. The organizational charts, like the chain of command charts, the hierarchy charts, those kinds of things. I always liked how those, I always had to be the one in charge of drawing those and making sure that it was right. That was one thing I got a little bit like, that had to be perfect. That I always wanted to have a say in and make sure it's fair and also looks nice. So that's how I initially started to get a little bit organized. And then this is something my dad told me right before I went to college that I should start doing. He told me that I should have a to-do list. And I said, well, what's that? And he's saying, you write down a list of everything you're going to do that day, and then you cross them off as you do it. So as you're doing it, you look at it and say, oh, I forgot this. I forgot to do this. Let me do that real quick. Or, oh, I just remembered. Let me write this down so I don't forget it later. And I'll talk more about that later. But that's the first thing I started doing. Now, what I did, this is what I use as a to-do list. You can buy these 4-packs, memo pads, memo books, whatever they call them. You can buy 4-packs for like $1. They're really cheap. One for 33 cents. I recommend getting a lot. Something else I use in addition to this is Post-it notes. If you have, I don't really have a rule of when to use one over the other, but you should have these are really, very useful. And what I do, I'll talk more about in depth towards the end of the video, but just pretty much write down everything you do that you're going to do that day, no matter how big, no matter how small. Write it down, and then cross them out as you do them, and then write more down as you think of more, and then constantly remind yourself to look at that throughout the day, like once every hour, once every 10 minutes, whatever. Always make it a habit to look at the to-do list. Now, one day I guess you would say I was school shopping for college. It was before I went to college, though. It was still when I was in Staten Island. I don't remember exactly when I did this. I think it might have been before the summer. But I don't remember exactly what I was doing that made me get this. But this is just an example of something that I use, a planner. And this is you can go to Office Max or one of the fancy stores, and they'll have this huge, expensive ones. I don't even like those. Those are pains in the asses. This one, I like. Now, what I personally use for this, so this is what you call a planner. In the first couple pages, important dates, I don't use that page, anything. They have these, the calendar months. I don't really use those. I guess you could if you want. But what I really like about it is that each page you open to, or each 2 pages that are put together, is a week. So it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And they have times there, but I don't really use those times too much. I guess you could. In fact, looking at it, it looks, wait, are those even times? Yeah, I guess those are times. But, those don't have 24 hours. That just goes from 7 in the morning to 6 at night. And I'm doing stuff 24/7, so I need more of that. But you can use that as a guideline. There's little times in there. And pretty much, whenever you make a phone call or whenever you make an appointment or something, you write it in here. And then carry this around with you to do stuff. So you can call this, let's just call this a planner for now. Or a schedule. Well, we'll call it a planner. So that's something else. Whenever you hear your first schedule, you could write and begin the month part if you want, but I always will just skip that and just write straight here. And keep a paperclip in the book so you can easily go to that page. If you want to write notes, I would keep that on your to-do list. Or not on the list itself. Because what I would do is I would have like the to-do list, and then if I was going to go to Walmart or something, like make another list on the back, or next to where it says Walmart, in sub-bullets, and do that. So that's how I initially started my planner and my to-do list. Oh, I hope this video is not going to be too long. So anyway, when I did ROTC in college, we met our flight commander. She taught us. She said she wants us all to have a. Well, she didn't tell us we had to do this, but this was her advice. She said that everyone should have a schedule, a to-do, a planner. What did she say? She said schedule, a planner, and a to-do list. And I'm like, wait, well, I have a schedule, a planner, and a to-do list. But what's the difference between a schedule and a planner? And then I think she said schedule has the times on it or whatever. I'm like, well, wait, I have times on mine. And then I thought about it for a little bit. I'm like, oh, well, it's still not very detailed. It doesn't have everything I do on there down to the minute. Those are just the big events, pretty much. So what I started to do from there, what I initially did is I got my college schedule. I would print out like 20 of them because college can print stuff for free if you dorm in there. I printed a bunch of them out and I put them in my filing cabinet. And in the beginning of every week, I would look at because of my college schedule. It already had all the classes written in there, so I didn't have to add those. And classes, of course, you're not going to add those here because you don't do those because you do those every week. But anyway, classes. So what I would do is I would get my schedule out with all the classes written on it, and then I would read here and draw all of those all of the events in here onto the school schedule, like on top of it. And then I know my handwriting's not that neat, so I would put it in order. I'll try to make it look as close as possible to what times it would be to make it look nice, but I would also write what times that event's going to be. So there's no argument of, oh, it's 6:59, no, it's 7 o'clock here. But anyway, I've been out of college a good year. I'll be going back in January though. But what I'm telling you right now, I haven't done this for a really long time. I've been getting back into using the to-do lists, because that's important. This, I just bought it a couple days ago. These I've always had on me. And this, I found this, I feel like this is the best one you can get for free, that you also don't have to really make yourself. You can go to Office Max and they'll make one for you, but they'll charge you a lot, so unless you're like a CEO of a company, which don't get it, I would say just get the free one. So Calendarpedia is a really nice website. So this is the basic template they give you. Except theirs is colored. I just don't have a colored printer on me right now. It says a weekly schedule. It says the Calendarpedia, and then look at your time slots. And this is where you can write down what time everything's gonna be. Now what I did is I just edited it really quickly before I printed it. I wrote down all the times that I'm going to be. I wrote it military times. It's just easier for me like that. There's only 13 slots, so if I could do it over, I'd probably leave that blank slot on the top and then write down the days of the month on top every week. But for me, it's pretty much anything that's going to be between one of those hours. Write down what time, and then like draw a box around the whole time it's going to be, or the whole thing. But so in the beginning of the week, let's do a whole overview real quick. So you're on your phone, you're making an appointment to make a job appointment. Let's say, oh hi, yes, you're gonna keep your weekly schedule in front of you, which already has your classes and your work schedules on it. Which, yeah, if I could do this over, which I didn't do it yet because my work schedule is about to change and I'm not 100% sure what it's going to be, but I would like keep it a hard copy. I would like digitally wrote in when my permanent work schedule is going to be, but I don't know when that's going to be yet, so I didn't write that in yet. But so let's say you're on the phone, you're gonna make an appointment for whatever it is. Let's say it's a job interview. You'd say, hi, yes, can you come in? And if they tell you what time, you look at your schedule, make sure you don't have any classes. Look at your important schedule to make sure nothing's gonna happen that week. Open up to whatever week you're talking about, and then as they tell you, write it down in your planner. What your schedule, what your thing's gonna be, and if it's in the same, and then So that's how you write all your important events. You're gonna write those down in here in your planner, and then every Sunday night, this is what when I would do it. Get Sunday night or Sunday morning. You can really do it any day of the week you want. I always did it. Well, when I was at my best in college, which was in the beginning, what I did is I would be all productive all the way until Friday after class. After class, do whatever you want all weekend, party, forget about school, and then Sunday night, everything's gonna start coming back together. The chaos is gonna leave, and everything's gonna come back. So then that's when you pull out your schedule and say, and you pull out your planner and you pull out a new schedule. You're gonna want about 20 of these pre-printed out, or you can just print out a new one every week. I personally have 20 of them printed out right now, so I don't have to print one out every time I want one. So you would look here and say, okay, so I gotta draw this appointment here, and then you would fill in the blanks on here. So this thing would have all your appointments on it. And then I would do this every night before you go to sleep. Pull out this, which is your planner, or sorry, your to-do list, and look at every individual day and every event on that list. This you want to be as general as possible. You get your list and say, okay, I have class. Yeah, write that. Oh, I have class. I'm probably gonna have to do homework for that class, so I'll write that. And yeah, I have class Tuesday, so I'll do my Tuesday homework class on Monday, and just write down very generally. You don't have to write it times or anything. All the things you're gonna do that day, like meditating. That's just something offhand that I remember I write down there every day. You're not necessarily going to write that on your weekly schedule unless you know exactly what time you're going to meditate every day. And you're definitely not going to write it here because it's a given that you have to meditate every day. And this is just for things that you don't necessarily do every week. And so constantly throughout the day, this is a little bit big. If you have a backpack, I'd throw it in your backpack. But this you're gonna throw this away at the end of the week, or maybe not throw it away, file it. But this you're gonna want to fold up all nice into a little sloppy packet, put it in your pocket. And your to-do list, you can take the whole spiral with you, but what I prefer to do when I'm in a rush is I just tear paper out and cross out the things that I do as I do them. As I remember them, write down more, and just make a habit that either after every class or after every meal or after every hour, as long as you're consistently checking your to-do list and your plan and your schedule throughout the day, then you'll be solid. And this, you just want to make sure you have this in your schedule as you're making another appointment, so you don't schedule two things at once. Now, those are the three things that my flight commander told me I should have. She didn't tell me all these details. Those are things I did myself. And if I were to add a fourth thing to that, which I think is very important, it's right in front of me, is you should have a to-do list, a schedule, a planner, and an aspiration journal. Now what this is long-term goals. These are the kind of things, let me explain real quick. This is going to be a long video. So, I would always tell my dad all these huge ideas I have, like, oh, I want to build my own junior ROTC camp one day. I want to have cadets from all over the state, maybe all over the country one day, come to my camp to train, and they'll each be their own cadet group, and then I'll get an intern who's about to be a commissioned officer, maybe a cadet who's an ROTC. He'll be the wing commander, and those are the kind of crazy ideas I have that may sound very unrealistic to your average person who doesn't know me. But I'd always tell my dad this, because my dad will always listen to me. My dad loves me. I love my dad. So he would always say, he would never tell me not to do it. He would never tell me not to think about it. He would tell me to always make sure you write it down, because a couple of reasons. Let's say you plan one day, oh, I wanna make my own camp, and then the next day you say, oh no, I'm gonna make my own restaurant, and then you build your own restaurant one day. Oh well, you forgot all about the camp you were gonna make. If you write it down, then you can go back and do it and remember it. Or let's say you say you're gonna do one thing, and then when you actually do it, it works out a little bit different than you planned. You can look back and say, wow, I was gonna do that, and because I got smarter, I changed it a little bit to be like this. And pretty much just so you can come back to your ideas so you don't forget them. So here's one last overview. I'm gonna go. Your long-term goals in life, you're gonna write down here. From there, you're gonna make appointments that will make those goals happen here. From here, as they come up, you're gonna write down on your weekly schedule, and from in the beginning of every week. And there, before you go to bed and when you wake up, you'll write down everything on that list on your to-do list, and you'll constantly do those things every day. So pretty much, it's your daily schedule, your weekly schedule, your monthly, your year. This thing has a year and a half, so I would say your yearly schedule, and your life aspirations. So those are the 4 things: the to-do list, the schedule, the planner, and the aspiration journal. If you have any questions, leave a comment. If you have any advice, you want to make this better, let me know. This is what I do. I'm a firm believer in this. I actually got to get back into practicing it. I'll leave a link to calendarpedia.com. So that's a great website that I just recently found, and I would. You don't have to spend a lot of money on this stuff. Like this was probably the most expensive thing. This was like $5-10 at Walmart, but it's nice. It's got leather, got lines in there, and this will last me a long time because it's got a lot of pages. I personally like this a lot. This was like $6. These can get pretty expensive though, but I like to stick with this one just because it's dumb enough that it still does what I want and it's still cheap. But I like it. These for $1, and these print them out at your university for free. Alright, I'm Kenny, and have a good day.